Alright, welcome back ladies and gentlemen to the Chupacabra Tutorials channel. I'm your host Larry, and we're back here today for another Photoshop tutorial talking about the new and improved selection tool for selecting subjects inside of your images. So everyone's been talking lately about these fancy new deep machine learning tools that companies like Google have been rolling out for analyzing images and videos and other things, and Adobe has applied that to selecting subjects inside of different images, and I'll show you how this works. So the easiest way to do this is to just select the magic wand tool. That's the tool where if you select something that's like one big blocky color, like this woman's pants, it'll try to select everything that's more or less that shade of blue and try to detect the lines. But while you've got this selected, you can also tell the program up here at the top to select the most prominent subject inside of this image. So the computer, after I click on this, will attempt to take a good hard look at what's going on here with these pixels and try to pick out what it thinks is the most important object. In this case, it detected that there's a group of friends having a picnic out in a park, and it decided to select them. Now, it's worth noting that this particular tool isn't exactly perfect. If we zoom in here, you can see that it's not quite sure what to do with the highlights on this guy's head. This guy over here didn't select his ice cream cone, so it'd be kind of confusing why he's got his hand up. And the woman down here, it sort of started to select her boots and her shoes, but it didn't really do a particularly good job of deciding whether or not it wanted this blanket down here. The other way that you can select a subject is you can go up here to Select, Subject, under Select, or if you want to do something a little bit quicker for refining your selections, you can just select whatever area or let's say person that you want. Maybe you think these two are a couple and you want to just select them. You can use your square marquee tool over here. It's this little dashed line square. Grab them and hit select and mask. Now normally you'd have to hand refine this selection previously using the refinement tools in here. But once you've got this selected, you've got another select subject tool, which will then try to select the primary subject based upon what's going on over here. And actually, it did a pretty good job of, again, grabbing the whole group. You might actually just want to chop these two out if you wanted to isolate them from their friend over here who's selfie obsessed. And then you can go over here with like the lasso tool and you can quickly refine this selection as needed to grab these highlights, to remove the highlights, whatever you really want. It's worth noting that there's not really a good way to control what the select subject button will do. It'll just try to do its best, and then you'll have to refine it from there. And it does a pretty good job in a whole wide variety of images. Like, let's say we want to select this woman from her blanket out here in the middle of the park. We can just grab that, zoom in a little bit. Let's see how it does. Yeah, it did all right. It grabbed her bag, and most of the blanket. All you'd have to do is quickly, with the lasso tool, outline the rest of the blanket that she's sitting on, and you could insert her into just about any image. It's a lot like any other tool with these photo editors. It works best when you have something with very clear and distinct levels of contrast, like this random sci-fi image I pulled off of Google. We can just try to see what this will do with the robot body. And I would guess it'll probably outline, yep, pretty much the whole thing instantly when it has a nice, clean, crisp line. It's also good for things like still lifes where the central object isn't a person. It can identify fruits, vegetables, random objects, toys, cars. It's good for a whole variety of things. And maybe even things that are as indistinct as these pots here. So let's just grab... let's not even give it any help. Let's just see what it does all on its own. Gotta make sure I've got the right layer selected. And let's see what it does. You know, it did okay, even though there isn't a lot of clear definition between the gentle white pottery here and the gentle white table. It did a pretty good job of outlining them and only got a little bit confused when you came down here into the shadows. Now, there's enough of a distinction here that you could easily grab your lasso tool, either grabbing it up here or hitting L, then you could just remove this from your selection or hit select and mask and do it through here. So this is just a quick look at how the Select Subject tool works. It's not like a little button on the sidebar. It appears on the sub-menu here at the top of the screen. When you use either the wand, you hit Select Subject, or you just go into the Select and Mask tool, which is very handy for refining your selections really quickly without trying to pull your hair out in the process. So that's it for this one, ladies and gentlemen. I've been your host, Larry. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to pop those below under the video description, and I will catch you next time. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and have a good one.